10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. Engines armed. 5, 4, 3, 1. All engines running. Launch command.
Hey there everyone. We all know how our Earth is such a unique planet because it is the only planet in the solar system which can support life. But did you know that there were two other planets in our solar system which could have had the possibility to develop life? Can you guess which two planets these are? I'll give you some time to think. Well, you might be surprised, but these are our two neighbor planets, Mars and Venus. But how could Mars and Venus possibly ever have the suitable conditions to host life? They're barren wastelands. Well, today we will be discussing how this was possible and why Mars and Venus have turned into something like this today. Now, you might find the images I'm about to show you hard to believe, but this is what Mars used to look like billions of years ago, and this is what Venus used to look like billions of years ago. Well, you might think, how can this be Mars or Venus? They have huge oceans like the Earth. Well, yes, Mars and Venus did used to have large water bodies where microbial life could have started to develop, but they eventually lost these oceans. So now let's figure out how they lost their oceans and their possibility to have life with it. And some proofs for these oceans that can show that they actually did used to exist. Now, scientists have made several observations that can prove the presence of rivers on the surface of Mars billions of years ago. For example, on Mars' surface, scientists have found imprints or remains of riverbeds and deltas like the delta we can see in this picture, which might be indicators that water bodies used to exist on Mars in the form of rivers. Now, for Venus, most of it is theoretical, and the only few proofs that we have could be the composition of Venus's atmosphere, and we will see the role of that later in the video. So now let's understand how Mars lost its oceans. So you might be confused why I am showing a picture of Earth right now, but I am showing it to make you understand a simple concept first. So Earth has a core made up of molten iron, which makes a strong magnetic field for Earth. Now there is some really complex and interesting science behind how this core helps make Earth's magnetic field, but it is very complex, so I won't be going very deep into it. But the main point that we should understand is that a hot core of metal or iron in Earth's case is required to make a strong magnetic field. Now, we actually wouldn't be able to survive without this magnetic field, as Earth's magnetic field protects us from harmful rays and solar winds of the sun. Now, let's see how this could have affected Mars. Now here we have a picture of the structure of Mars. So Mars also used to have a very hot core of molten metal which helped it create a very strong magnetic field. But since Mars is much smaller than Earth, it lost its internal heat much faster than the Earth and its core solidified into solid metal, making it lose its magnetic field. Now, when it lost its magnetic field, the sun's solar winds deteriorated its atmosphere, causing the water to eventually evaporate. And this left behind the barren wasteland of Mars, which we know today, as the oceans vanished with Mars's atmosphere. Now let's move on to how Venus lost its oceans. Now this is quite a simple explanation. As we know, Venus is very close to the Sun, only the second planet from the Sun. So, this caused Venus's oceans to evaporate naturally due to so much heat from the Sun. Then, this water vapor, which entered the atmosphere, broke down into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen escaped into space, meanwhile, the oxygen remained trapped into the atmosphere and eventually combined with carbon to create carbon dioxide, making the scorching hot atmosphere of Venus that we have today.